Welcome back to Mulcahy Stadium in Anchorage, Alaska. Dylan Simmons and Charlie Fellows on the call. Your Mat-Su Miners down 3-0 to the Anchorage Bucks. After being held scoreless in the first 2 innings of play, Mat-Su defense had a tough time limiting the Bucks offense in the bottom half of the first. They gave up a number of hits, including a solo home run shot from Max Ross, but Jack Hostetler hoping to keep the damage to a minimum here. Leading off will be Brody Briggs, the catcher, 8-9-1, due up for the Bucks.
Yeah, this is a critical inning here for Jack Hostetler to get off to a little bit of a better start than what we saw at the beginning of this game and try and get his offense back into the groove, which is what we've seen over the course of the last couple games.
Briggs showed bunt there for a second, pulled back. Count goes to 1-0. He was able to, in theory at least, throw out Dom Patrizzi in the top half of the second, although some may argue for the correctness of that call. Looked like Patrizzi got there and that the ball was mishandled by the second baseman.
Yeah, I'm still not sure about that. I think he might have gotten it in his glove after. I know he definitely dropped it at first, and it didn't look like Patrizzi came off the bag, but we'll never know, I suppose.
Umpire ruled that he did come off the bag, and that's what led to the inning being as quick as it was. 2-1 count. Pitch by Hostetler. Fastball is going to be popped up into the air, into space. Balls has a chance to make a play on it, and he does for out one.
That's a nice, unproductive out. Exactly what they need to start off this inning.
Riley Hunsaker will now make his way to the plate, the left fielder for the Bucks today. So our first time seeing him offensively in this game, and Hunsaker, a guy who hasn't been used as much by the Bucks, but has gotten some playing time as of late. 15 at-bats and 4 RBIs on the season. Pitched by Hostetler, bunt shown and popped into the air. Foul ball as it'll land up and over the press box. Count goes to 0-1.
The base is empty, 1-out bunt. I respect what he's going for, but that is a bold choice.
Now Hostetler will try a fastball high. Count goes to 1-1. And we've seen sometimes that bunts in these situations can have both a reward but also a great risk attached to it. And sometimes you get bitten by that. Got to execute it very cleanly. There's a nice strike for Hostetler. Count goes to 1-2. All comes down to execution and how the other team fields the bunt most of the time. Mat-Su has shown themselves capable of fielding it cleanly in this game. 1-2 pitch, and that's going to be a swing and a miss. Jack Hostetler with his second strikeout, taking care of Riley Hunsaker this time, 2 away.
So he's looking for a 1-2-3 inning, which would be a huge boost to his confidence, and he's got to slay a bit of a demon right here as we go to the top of the order.
Yeah, but he's going to have to meet Max Ross once again, the man who had a solo home run shot into left field his last time up, the opposite field home run, and now we'll see if Jack Hostetler is ready. Fires in a fastball. Count goes to 0-1.
And that first pitch tells me that he is. He's attacking him. He's not pitching around him. He knows that he can get him out. That was just a fluke.
That's the sign of a strong mentality that a baseball player possesses, showing no fear, and that's a swing and a miss. Count goes to 0-2. This is strength on strength right now.
Looking for strikeout number 37. Pull himself to 2 behind Halverson.
He's already got the team lead after the second strikeout. This is for number 3, and he got it. Jack Hostetler with yet another strikeout in this game, 2 in a row to end the bottom half of the second inning. And he does indeed. 1-2-3. The Anchorage Bucks were on to the top half of the third. The Mat-Su Bats looking to get their share of the scoring pie. We'll be right back to Anchorage. You're watching Mat-Su Miners Baseball on YouTube. Welcome back to Palmer, Alaska. Dylan Simmons and Charlie Fellows on the call with you this evening. It's a 1-0 game, and the Anchorage Glacial Pilots are currently on top, but we'll see if that will stand the test of time. And this test from Ryan Cochran, who'll be leading off for Mat-Su in this frame. 5, 6, 7 due up in the order. Cochran, Wilcox, and Brandon Duran, the generator.
Cochran, as I mentioned, the shortstop for this game. You heard from him before if you listen to our pregame show, which, by the way, always listen to the pregame show. We always go live 15 minutes before the game starts, and our pregame shows vary in length, but we usually roll those within the next 5 minutes or so. It always will have the highlights from the previous game, a little graphic blurb about the stats that we want to highlight from that game. It'll always have a pregame interview, and it will always have those lineups before the game. That's the consistency that you need, and we will provide it.
This is fouled off by Cochran. The count goes to 2-2. He talked about what we've seen in his limited sample size early on, Charlie. He's got 7 at-bats on the year, a .286 average, and a .500 on-base percentage. So he's been very good whenever he stepped up to the plate so far, facing a 2-2. This time, though, he's going to get struck out, and I believe the announcer's jinx may have struck for the second time in this game as Cochran heads back to the dugout.
And I think that might actually have been my fault because at the top half of the second inning, I incorrectly marked Cochran as having struck out looking because I forgot to turn my scorecard over, and I think I may have just inflicted that upon him.
Well, apologies, guys. We're really jinxing you tonight, and hopefully that'll change soon enough as the count goes to 1-0 for Chase Wilcox, who has been a sensational player when it comes to generating runs. Tied for third in the ABL with 10 RBIs, lets this one go by, and the count will be 2-0.
261 hitter, has 3 doubles, 10 runs batted in, as you said, has drawn 4 walks, and is a great producer on offense.
That he is, as the count goes to 3-0, and he may get on base via a walk from Colin Hunter. And if he can force ball 4, Hunter's got to find the zone. Wilcox is eating that up right now. And that will be strike 1. Bit delayed by the home plate umpire, but he makes the call.
That did look like that was on the outside corner.
So the count will be 3-1. Wilcox still in an advantageous position for the moment. 3-1, and that's ball 4. Low and inside, and Wilcox is on to first with a 5-pitch walk. Matsu's got a runner aboard with 1 out. And here comes the generator, the home run hitter, Mr. Brandon Durand.
He's got 2 home runs on the season, both of them in the same game against the Chugiak ER Chinooks earlier on this week at Lee Jordan Field.
As usual, he's working as the designated hitter, which has become a spot that he's been very accustomed to this season, outside of being a catcher. This pitch goes inside, so he's kind of working in a Shohei Ohtani role on the Dodgers, if you catch my drift, at least for this game.
He's slugging .373, which is second to McCausland on the team. He's got 2 doubles, 2 home runs, 11 runs batted in.
1-0 count. He also has the only multi-home run game in the Alaska Baseball League this season, currently tied with Colin Robson of the Peninsula Oilers for the only 2 players who have 2 home runs this season. Durand could break that tie with a home run here. 2-0 count. Here's a liner into right field for a base hit over the head of the first baseman Dodge. Wilcox around to third. He'll stroll in easily, and Durand is on base with a 1-out single.
Just put it in the perfect spot where the first baseman dove for it, but he couldn't get it, and Jack Dorn out in right had to run a long ways. That ball just kind of rolled to a stop in shallow right field, so he had to cover more ground than he initially thought. Wilcox, if he had really turned on the Jets, might have had a chance to score, but obviously he couldn't have known that that ball was behaving in that particular way. Still first and third with 1 out. He has a very high chance of getting home nonetheless.
Kellen Strohmeyer now to the plate with 1 out. Matsu's looking good. A bunt's going to be laid down, and it's foul. Boy, Junior Barajas almost made a incredible catch from the home plate area, but thankfully for Matsu, count's going to be 0-1 on a foul.
It's funny. I always wonder why catchers don't do that more. When you see a bunt get popped up, obviously the answer is because we are back here. We can immediately see where the ball's going, but when you're squatted down behind the plate, you have no idea where that is. But he somehow had the presence of mind to lay out for that, and I really thought he might catch it at first.
Good thing for Kellen Strohmeyer that he did not. Here's a throwback to first. Won't be able to do anything with Brandon Durand, who has shown his speed on the base paths a few times this season. He might have an opportunity to potentially steal second base if he feels that's necessary.
He got his first steal of the season last night.
That he did. This is a fastball in for a strike, and the count goes to 0-2 on Strohmeyer. Hunter trying to get a big strikeout right here.
It'll be Strohmeyer and Baltz, and then the top of the order.
Strohmeyer has 7 walks for us this season and 6 hits. Here's a liner into right for another base hit. This is going to score Wilcox easily. And Matsu has tied the game on an RBI single from the Iowa man, Kellen Strohmeyer. Count goes to 2-2 The best extra base hitter on this Miners roster. He has a total of 5 doubles this year, and of course the home run last night. 2-2 count, pitch from Livesey, and a swing and a miss by McCausland. That's going to be a strikeout, and the first of the day for Chugiak.
That's the downside of his approach, trying to get extra base hits, is oftentimes you wind up swinging more, and that leads to more swings and misses, more strikeouts. It's the 3 true outcomes algorithm that someone much smarter than me could explain.
As Christian Perez will now come to the plate, the cleanup man in the order. Count goes to 1-0. He is now the man with the best batting average and best on-base percentage on the Miners. As the count is 1-0. Here is a line ball that gets into left field for a base hit. Christian Perez keeps the hot streak going. He's got a single with 2 outs.
That's already the second hit they've got off of Livesey, and like you mentioned, Christian Perez, a .294 batter trying to get back north of 300 where he was for the first part of the season. He's got a pair of doubles, 7 runs batted in. One of the most dependable players to create offense, and now here is the new face.
Ryan Cochran with his first plate appearance of the season for the Miners, and that's going to be a strike. Count goes to 0-1. So much excitement to see what he can do for Matsu this season. Coming in out of Lehigh, Newton Square, Pennsylvania is his hometown. Here's a fly ball out to right, and in his very first at-bat of the season, Ryan Cochran is going to get a single.
Batting 1,000, we love to see it. Cochran jumps into the lead of batting average for the club, usurping Christian Perez.
Well, it's great to see him come in and make an immediate impact, and you were right, he absolutely delivered that shot into right, and Medeiros with no time to do anything with it. Ryan Cochran making an immediate impact, and Matsu now with runners on first and second as Brandon Duran makes his way to the plate. Number 6 man in the order watches this one go by for ball number 1.
The generator has a chance to spark this offense even more. 2 outs, but a couple of men on base, and he's been absolutely raking lately too.
Yeah, he's delivered in this spot time and time again this season. He did it against the Pilots back on Friday, and here's a high fly ball deep to left field. This one back towards the wall. It is out of here. Brandon Duran with a 3-run home run in the top half of the first inning, and Matsu is feeling it. That one flew out all the way to Mount Denali.
What's going on, Matsu Miners fans? Dylan Simmons here, and for today's Player of the Week, we have Mr. Chase Wilcox, who is coming off an incredible week of offensive baseball. Chase, you've been really the catalyst for the offense over this last period, so I got to ask first off, what has been going right for you?
Sometimes you just feel like you're seeing the ball well, and I think that's what's been going on this last week. I've been hitting my pitches. I'm not, chasing any pitcher's pitches. I'm just sticking true to my approach and, putting a good swing on the pitches that I want to hit. So yeah, it's been working out.
Charlie asked you about this before, kind of how to get the offense into that next gear. You mentioned getting runners in who are in scoring position and who are on base, and it feels like you guys have done that way more effectively as of late. How have you guys been able to turn the tables on that end?
Yeah, I think we've just been putting together good at-bats, 1 through 9, top to bottom, and a couple guys, if they walk, get hit by pitch. We've been doing a good job of executing. I'm sure you've seen we've been bunting a lot.
Yes.
And then get a runner on third, and then it's up to the guy to just score them. And we've been just scratching, clawing runs. You saw that last night against the Bucks. Getting 1 run at a time, and then eventually taking the next step and taking the lead. And
yeah,
that's kind of what we've been doing this week, is just having a couple comeback games where we take the runs we can get and then move on to the next inning and build.
Now, I've heard some teammates call you Walk-Off Wilcox in reference to the walk-offs you've had over this last week, and we're not going to trademark that nickname like you said, but I do got to say it's pretty fitting as to what you've been able to do for Matsu this week. So how special is it to get those walk-offs for this team?
I love being in those spots. There's nothing more fun than being the guy that gets the winning run in or the go-ahead run in. And after the first time, I think it was against the Bucks in extra innings, I came up in those spots a couple more times, and it's just, you've been there before, so no pressure, and yeah, a lot of confidence going up there. It's really fun.
You know, last time we interviewed you, you wore a specific shirt, a Dr. Dre shirt, one of
Yeah.
my favorite shirts I've seen all season long. So real quick, name me your top 5 hip-hop/rap artists if you've got them ready to go.
Okay. This is in no particular order.
Okay.
I probably gotta throw Kendrick Lamar in there.
Got to. Have to put in Kendrick. Not like us.
Yeah. Yep.
They not like us.
I don't know. If I want to go old school, I could throw in Eminem.
Got to put in Eminem.
Grew up listening to Eminem.
Absolute goat. The rap god.
You know, more modern. I'm gonna throw in Ian. Look him
Ooh,
up.
okay.
Look him up. Throw in Ian.
I'll have to look him up. All right. All right. Dre, is Dre in there?
Dre, Dre might be first couple off the list. I don't know.
First couple off the list.
He's more producer than rapper.
All right.
Yeah, I don't know. I'll give you a top.
Give me
three,
a top. You can give me a top 5 later on, but
Yeah.
wanted the crowd to kind of hear what you might have in store as far as rap artists are concerned. But glad to hear from you, Chase, and good luck the rest of the week.
Yeah, thank you guys. Thank
All
you.
right, that's Chase Wilcox, your Player of the Week. Back to you.